Hi guys, welcome back to the Thornton 100 Motorcycles YouTube channel. Today we're at the dyno with the Speed Triple 1200 RR supercharged and water methanol injected project. The aim of today is to get it onto the dyno, run it in and make sure that all of the systems are running correctly, and if all of that goes to plan, then we will start ramping up the power and hopefully making some decent power before we head over to the Goodwood Festival of Speed 2023, which is in a couple of weeks time. So hopefully, in true Thornton 100 fashion that we have always done, this goes to plan and nothing breaks, and we don't blow it up a week before. So we're going to take it nice and easy, like I say, run it in, make sure everything's working, and hopefully make some nice decent power figures before we go over to the Festival of Speed. Okay guys, so we're just about to button the motorbike up, and what we've done is we've written a first map on it as well. So we're going to be able to start this thing for the first time and hear what it sounds like, get it warmed up, get some heat into those pipes, watch the colour change, which I absolutely cannot wait for, and then hopefully everything goes well and we can move it onto the dyno. So we've got the bike onto the dyno, strapped it all down, applied a load through the dyno and run this up to around 15-20% throttle, which allows us to run the engine in. Allows us to apply a load to the engine, get some pressure behind the piston rings, push them out into those cylinder walls and bed everything in nicely. So engine temperatures look fantastic. This thing runs really cool, way cooler than any of the WFBs ever did. And also Oil pressure's great, everything looks fantastic. We've got a nice flow of the traction fluid there. So we have encountered one issue, which is a misfire at around 4,500, 5,000 RPM. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the plugs out, put new plugs in, because these are the plugs that we were running on this bike when I did my track day on it originally, and these are the factory plugs as well. So we're just gonna put some new ones in, because I have been in and out a couple of times. Maybe we've knocked one and the gap isn't correct or something like that. So we're gonna take them out, put new ones in, gap them correctly, and then whack it back on the dyno and hopefully start to make some power. Who's been creating all of the computer system, Thornton 100 artificial intelligence, the digital analog network, has hidden so many Easter eggs in this bike, and we've got this really cool message that's just popped up on the dash, and I've just been reading through it and it is quite funny. Reminds you of all the cool things that we built into this bike, but this Thornton 100 artificial intelligence on this bike, we're taking it to another level. This bike is actually going to be able to speak to us, and there's lots of little hidden Easter eggs in this bike that I'm sure I'm going to find as I use it more and more, and it's going to be really interesting to see as we go through the year and introduce different scenarios to the bike, different levels of burnouts, different wheelies, and different scenarios that it's going to like and enjoy, or maybe not even like and tell me. So yeah, it's a really cool message, but check it out, guys. So guys, Thornton 100 and K&N Filters have teamed up again in 2023 to create this absolutely insane bit of kit here at the absolutely insane Goodwood Festival of Speed 2023. So we have created a Speed Triple Triumph 1200 RR drift bike, which is supercharged and water meth injected, and this is the first time that anyone is going to see it completely finished and completely done, and we're going to take it up the hill in a bit and do some burnouts, hopefully smoke some tires and have a great time. So guys, check it out. So this is a brand new 2023 model Speed Triple 1200 RR that we've created a completely bespoke supercharger system for, with a completely bespoke bodywork, active aero, Thornton 100 artificial intelligence, and water methanol injections. This bike weighs 187 kilograms and is capable of up to 400 horsepower at the rear wheel. The supercharger looks absolutely insane hanging off the side, with a K&N air filter completely bespoke made just for this bike going into the compressor housing, so you can see the turbine wheel spinning, looks fantastic. And then we have the big water meth injection pump on this side as well. So this thing sounds absolutely incredible, so let me start it up for you. So you've seen the bike, guys. This has been a very long time coming, and it's finally time to enjoy the fruits of all the team at Thornton 100 and everyone else's work that has been put into this bike. So I'm going to chuck my helmet on now and send it up the hill for the first time.
Feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed it, that would really fly. I had to go demonstrate, I had to set it straight. Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a reply. replacement. This my vocation. Now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Swatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with.
Okay guys, so just want to take a special moment to thank K&N for their involvement with the RR Supercharged project and also helping us out with all of our filtration needs. We are on the K&N stand at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and we've got the WFB2 here, which was also a K&N sponsored build, and we also use the K&N products all across this bike as well. This bike has been drawing so much attention all weekend, and we just wanted to say a very special thank you to K&N for supporting us, and we're very much looking forward to what we can do together in the future.
I ain't make it this far for myself, I had to prove to everybody else, I had to set them straight, I had to ball, so I had to renovate, I know. They hate when you elevate, the second of losses, I'm handing them out, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. Oh, yeah. Why they wanna put me down? So much drip, yeah, I almost drowned in it. I can't come it down. Yeah, I'm way too far. I can't slow it down. Oh, yeah, yeah. I see the flashing lights. Make sure the fashion right, yeah. I'm in my bag tonight, yeah. Oh, I might just pull up a foreign. Watch out, the engine is roaring. It's too loud, you can ignore it. Yeah, yeah. This the highlights for the future. You can have it all, don't need to choose. First, let me demonstrate how you can rise to the top. Yeah, I had to elevate, elevate.
Of laying down a trail all the way up the hill, and what a tonic this is after yesterday's silence, the noise, the sights, the sounds. Back on the hill climb, back at the Festival of Speed.
There we go. Truck a shame for the RR. Not because I broke it though. It's just be a little bit aggressive on the old last burnout, 6th gear. I'm sure we can chuck up some Insta 360 footage right now and see what happened. So guys, that's the end of Goodwood 2023. Me and the team had a fantastic time. The bike performed fantastically. If I could go back and change a couple of things, I probably would. The exhaust was a bit of an issue. The plenum was a bit of an issue. And also my riding at the start was a bit of an issue because I actually didn't know how to drift the motorbike until about a week ago. So we did all my practice on the hill. We got loads of coverage and we smoked a few tyres too. So everyone here had a fantastic time. So we're going to pack up now, head back to the workshop, rebuild the bike, get it back on the dyno, send it to 100% throttle, and hopefully this thing will be back potentially next year, making huge smoke and huge flames too. So guys, we've just come back from the Goodwood Festival of Speed and we had an absolutely incredible time with an absolute showstopper of a motorcycle. This thing performed absolutely incredibly and honestly exceeded all of my expectations as to what it could do and also as to what I would be able to do on it, given all the features that we built into it that made my life a little bit easier as well. So obviously there is so many different things that have gone into building this bike, and I'd just like to highlight some of the features on it because maybe some of you would have missed it, but there's so many little things that have gone into making this bike do exactly what it does. So one of the main issues that we had when I did my initial testing on this bike was actually the front brake. So as you can see, the front disc is absolutely cooked. It's golden and brown and purple and blue. So that thing will have been absolutely glowing red hot when you're up there, 5th, 6th gear, slowing down for those corners when you're coming in sideways and then feeding it out as well and just trying to control it. And as well with a lot of the slower stuff on the way back down the hill, this front brake had to hold on. So we've got Motol fluid in there. We've also got the JP titanium vented brake pistons, which allow the heat to be dissipated away from the fluid to stop it from boiling over. And then we've got some ceramic sinter brake pads in there, as well as all of the vents as well. That has just made this bike way more predictable on the front brake as well when you're doing that slow speed stuff as well. And when you're coming up fast to corner, you need to be slowing it down, banging down the gears, backing it in, and on the brake as well. So that's a really nice feature as well. Obviously that's tied up to the completely bespoke Rotobox carbon fiber wheels, which are front and rear, obviously single-sided on the rear and then normal on the front. And then the whole front end of this bike is completely carbon fiber. So all of the cockpit inside, all of the, what would have been the headlight mount, and then obviously we've got the big inlet here at the front. Now, a lot of people think that's the inlet for the supercharger, but obviously we've got the K&N air filter on the side here, which is on the end of the compressor housing. So the compressor housing is the compressor is driven by the bottom pulley here at the crankshaft, and that spins the supercharger. It sucks all its air in here and then goes through and injects itself like it into the plenum, as I explained when we built this bike in the previous video as well. So go check that one out if you haven't seen it yet. So completely bespoke cockpit here. We've got an ECU master dash, and that's linked to a Link G4X Fury ECU, and then it's also managed by a ECU master power management unit as well. Completely bespoke wiring loom as well, or neural link as we like to call it, because we have managed to give this bike a bit of a personality. So obviously we've got all of the active aero. So that is all controlled by the inertia measurement unit, so we can measure acceleration, deceleration, roll, pitch, and yaw as well on the bike. And we also have other inputs such as throttle when we're going slow, just so it looks cool, and doing burnout, stuff like that. And we also have inputs from the brake on those as well. Now, they're only small. They only have a small amount of surface area, but if you stuck the brake on at 150 mile an hour, we'd have 24 kilos of pressure on those small faces there. So there's loads of computerized fluid dynamics that would go into designing something like this as well, and it does change at different angles and stuff like that. But mostly these are for show, but they do actually do something as well, and they are strong enough to lift as well. So they can lift your hand up fairly easily as well. So they are nice and strong. So obviously we got a completely bespoke dash, like I said. The CNC racing buttons on there as well just makes this thing look really custom. And then we've got all of this aero here as well, all billet mounted, 3D printed, composite aerofoils on there, which just look absolutely incredible. So obviously we've got the titanium exhaust. Now that did actually cause a bit of an issue at the Festival of Speed, where we were getting the bike so hot and banging so many flames. And when you're in the moment, you got your helmet on, you're thinking about not dying and not crashing. So the bike's health comes a little bit after. Now, luckily with the Thought 100 artificial intelligence, it does look after itself. So it will go into a limp mode if it sees a little bit of something that it doesn't like. And it also has lots of warnings on the dash. It will tell me off if I'm doing something wrong as well. We do actually have the speakers built into this bike on the back here as well. So when we start this thing, it does actually talk as well, which is actually a bit of an interesting one that I haven't actually seen before. So
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
So this is actually a volume knob as well, so we can turn this thing up and down. But we also have different modes here as well. So we have different tunes that are built into this. So this is all like Need for Speed, PlayStation. You know, me and my brother grew up with this kind of stuff as well. But also, because we're in show mode, when we go to start this, so the bike's laughing at me, so it's laughing at me because it's in show mode. So we can obviously take it out of show mode, and then we can have our ignition on, and then it will just cycle through. There's lots of different inputs as well that this bike has. So it will see different things like temperature, and it will shout at me. If it thinks I'm abusing it, it will tell me off as well. And there's so many other little things as well with the aerofoils on the front there that it will flash and shout and do different things. So we've kind of tried to develop a little bit of a personality for the bike using the Thought 100 artificial intelligence, which is just something that I've never seen before, and something that I'm hoping will trickle down into our production bikes in the future as well. So a lot of you guys asked for the bespoke dashes, and that really is a very special bit of kit that took us a very long time to develop. So also what took us a long time to develop is this completely bespoke, nearly just over a meter long billet swing arm, which is actually a 5-litre water meth reservoir where we suck the water meth out of the swing arm and inject it into the plenum to cool the bike down. Now, the reason this is stretched out, and this is a controversial thing as well, because people hate stretched out bikes, but in terms of going sideways and drifting, and also drag racing, if we wanted to drag race this, we can just slam it to the ground, which is fairly easy to do. It makes the bike much more predictable, it makes it a lot slower. So when you're actually sliding, it's actually a lot more easy to control. And as well, when you are drag racing, you can accelerate hard as well, and you don't get that sort of tipping moment over the rear wheel as well. So obviously keeps the front end down. Now this is set up really high. You can see how high it is at the back there and how low it is at the front. So the weight is all the way far forward, and that allows me to keep the back end really nice and loose with just enough grip to kind of keep it under control as well. So all of the electronic suspension is gone on this bike as well. The standard bike is absolutely fantastic. I've got one upstairs, which is my road bike, and that is a brilliant bit of kit with the standard suspension. However, for this, we wanted a little bit more of a fine tuning on the electronics as well. So that's allowed us to get that by having it all manual. Now, if I turn this down so it doesn't shout at me, then we can, you can see on the back here as well, we have the indicators built into the rear heel plates. Now, these are completely billet, and they also have a 3D printed wire tidy on the back of it as well. So that's a really nice little bit of kit just hidden up the back there that allows us to kind of hide the indicators and keep this thing a little bit more road legal if we put a normal exhaust back on it. And that's just a really nice, neat little setup. Obviously, we've got the camera mount at the back here, which is a 360 cam, which we use to get those fantastic shots at the Festival of Speed, and obviously a full carbon fibre rear end as well. Now we've got our Festival of Speed number on there, badge of honour, number 80 as well, and obviously all the K&N branding who have actually sponsored this video as well. So this is obviously running the K&N air filter on the compression housing on the other side as well. So that allows it to be washable, and it allows us to filter all of that air that's being sucked in as well. Goodwood is really dusty, and when it's raining it can be really muddy as well. So it's nice just to have a filter that I know I can trust and rely on in a completely bespoke housing that we made just for the bike, so you can see the turbine wheel spinning, and that's just a really safe way to make sure that this very expensive engine is not getting any damage. Now obviously we lowered the compression with custom pistons, forged pistons, and also custom rods as well, and they're holding up absolutely fantastic. And there's so many other little bits on this bike as well. So titanium bolts all the way throughout, Cerakoted black, all of the components as well. So it's just an absolutely insane bit of kit, and something that we use to develop the RR and RS platform a little bit further as well. So we do actually have the brake discs, which are available to buy on the website now, which is a really nice little option as well. So click the link in the description below if you want to get involved with some cool wavy brake discs as well as a couple of other little bits that we're doing for the RR platform. But it was really nice to kind of develop something that's a little bit different to what we normally do, which is obviously the bobbers and the scramblers and the Thruxtons T120s. This is a step in a completely different direction, and something that I actually really enjoyed doing, and I actually really enjoy riding as well. So we've done a fair few miles on this bike now, and it's just been absolutely insane carnage every single time as well. So we've had so much fun with this project, but we're now moving on to more projects as well. So make sure you're following our social medias, Thornton 100 Motorcycles on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube as well. Obviously make sure you click that subscribe button to make sure you are updated with all of our new projects moving forward. Once we've sort of finished up with this one, we've got so much cool stuff coming as well, so make sure you're not going to miss it. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll catch you next time.